All right, we'll move on to our next presentation now, DistributionNOW. They are a leading global stocking supplier of energy and industrial solutions, products, and engineered equipment packages. They provide an extensive selection of pipes, valves and fittings, MRO supplies, and OEM products to the energy and industrial markets worldwide. They have locations in over 20 countries, and their online digital channels give customers easy access to the products they need. They are traded on the NYSE under the ticker DNOW. Speaking today with the company is Brad Wise, Vice President of Investor Relations, and Mark Johnson, Chief Financial Officer.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having us. We're DistributionNOW. As Larry said, we go by the brand names of DistributionNOW or DNOW, DNOW being our New York Stock Exchange ticker symbol. And I've got a number of prepared slides. I'll start off, give some comments about halfway. Mark will take over and address the financial section. Do I hit the play button, Larry? Is it?
Green one.
The green one. Okay, great. Just our standard disclosure statement. I'm going to make some forward-looking statements, and these include obviously forward-looking statements, and that may not be meaningful after today, or don't hold me accountable for it. Okay, so who is DNOW? We're a global energy and industrial distributor. We've been in business over 160 years. We spun off from National Oilwell Varco in 2014. And at that time, we were highly levered to the upstream drilling market, both international and domestic. And really over the last 9 years plus, we've diversified quite extensively, our customer base. Even though we're greater than 2/3 tied to the upstream production and midstream, the drilling piece is a much smaller piece of our portfolio. So, think of us more tied to, even though drilling rigs is a good proxy for our business, really tied to production and the completion side of the business. And we'll get into some more details about that. But roughly 2,400 plus employees, 170 locations worldwide. The major areas that we participate, obviously US and Canada, and then internationally, the Middle East, the UK, Australia, some of the former CIS countries as well. You could look at the pie chart here that shows, roughly 74% of our revenue coming from the United States. So highly US levered, and then 11% international, 15% in Canada. Within the US, we have two businesses. One we call our Energy Centers business. The other we call our US Process Solutions. I'll get into that a little bit, but you can see the breakup. About 78 to 22%. We've been growing our US Process Solutions business. In our most recent earnings call, I think we came within the quarter about 28%. A lot of that growth has come through acquisition that Mark will talk a little bit about in some slides later. And a good segue here, you could see, how do our customers see us, right? We have our branches, and our branches are businesses that have inventory, that have a service capability, a branch manager, inventory manager. We have logistics capability where we deliver product, and it's really meeting the just-in-time demand for a lot of our customers in the production and midstream and downstream sector. And that's the left column. The middle column is what we call our supply chain services business. This is an integrated model where it's a one-to-one relationship, unlike our branches where we might serve a 250-mile radius of many customers. And our supply chain services, it's highly sticky relationship with our customers. We're on site, we're managing warehouses, we're managing inventory, we're planning with our customer. So we tend to get a much bigger wallet share of the customer spend when we're on site, integrated into their procurement and supply chain processes. And then on the far right is our US Process Solutions business. This is a business we built through acquisition since 2015, and it's the process, production, and the fluid handling piece of our business, predominantly pump distribution, a lot of pump distribution, but also fabrication capabilities within the upstream, midstream, and downstream sectors. I mentioned the global presence. One of the big shifts we've done coming out of COVID, prior to COVID, we were too big. We were kind of a bloated company with too many locations, too much inventory. With the big downturn coming out of COVID, we had to do things different. We had the right size to the market. And so we, strategized and came up with this supercenter model. We kind of shrank the footprint in terms of a number of locations, but we stood up a number of supercenter locations, and these are giving us a tremendous amount of of benefit and efficiency and productivity, and you can see that in our financial numbers that Mark's going to cover. But essentially, these are large locations that have inventory servicing a greater geographical segment of our customers, but also we have projects and speculative inventory put in here and not in the branch network that I mentioned earlier. So we actually reduced internal competition and kind of more went to a regional model, and we're seeing a tremendous benefit from that since 2022. This is a look. DNOW is not a manufacturer, we're a distributor. So you'll see some low CapEx numbers that Mark may talk about. But on the left, you'll see, we distribute top tier suppliers to the upstream and midstream and downstream markets in energy, but also in the industrial side. And then you can see on the right, kind of a sampling of our segments here. You got drilling production, midstream, downstream, and then the industrial RNG and mining sector, these adjacent markets that we're real excited about. I'll have a slide that'll highlight a little bit on what we call the energy evolution. And I believe the talk track here before us talked a little bit about the energy evolution here to stay and making significant progress there. So I'd like to make some comments on that a little bit later. Looking at our product mix, what do we distribute? Pipe, roughly 20%, valves, roughly 20%. The pumps that I mentioned through our process solutions business and the production and drilling products, 25%. Fittings and flanges, 18%. And then what we call kind of the MRO, consumables business, roughly 18% there. We differentiate. We're not a catalog shop, okay? Most of our customers see tremendous value in the services that are combined with the products we sell, whether it's inventory planning, whether it's procurement solutions, whether it's just the ease and efficiency of obtaining what they need when they need it, and most importantly, the application, the proper application. We have an approved manufacturers list of products, so quality is a big piece of the delivery that we provide our customers. And we think of ourselves as kind of the critical link in the energy and industrial value chain here, all the way from upstream through the downstream and industrial sector. And a big piece of our revenue comes from the upstream separation of oil, gas, and produced water as it comes out of the wells. And obviously we call that a tank battery or a well site onshore facility. This graphic here shows just an example of a 6-well pad. You can see on the lower right. Our energy centers branches supplies all the pipe, valves, and fittings required to connect and plumb up these well site onshore facilities. And those are typically stick built, in the field. You can see that in kind of the lower middle section here. And then on our process solutions business that we've grown since 2015, you could see the modular approach to a lot of the products we deliver, whether it's a pump package tied to moving produced water or moving chemical injection, to the much larger fabricated vessels that you see here, whether they're the heater treaters, the three-phase separators. And then you get into, once you segment the oil and gas and water, you get into the measurement side with the LAC unit measuring oil to the midstream. The produced water as it comes out of the tank, the storage tanks in the middle, goes to water transfer and then to a saltwater disposal facility, usually a number of miles away from this facility location. And then on the gas side, the gas metering side and separation. The purple that you see is the FlexFlow product. That's an acquisition we started in 2019. The FlexFlow product is ideal it's a rental application for operators that need to, that during flowback haven't quite sized the the permanent vessels there. So we have a rental option that's a real nice solution for them that allows them to move a lot of that produced water to saltwater disposal. And we're also seeing applications, and I believe Dave Cherchinsky on our last earnings call mentioned increased use of what we call jet pump applications, which is kind of a primary artificial lift application before a well goes on, say a rod pump. And then last but not least, in the green there is a recent acquisition we did called EcoVapor. EcoVapor we're real excited about this solution. It allows, if you look at the tanks in the middle where you're storing oil and produced water, there's a low pressure flash gas that comes off the tanks. And so if the operator has a VRU, which you also see on this slide, that's going to be pulling a vacuum on those and pushing that gas, a lot of times you get oxygen contamination within the gas, and our EcoVapor solution actually strips the oxygen out of the gas, meeting that 10 parts per million requirement for the midstream takeaway capacity. Without that solution, we're seeing operators would have to go into a flaring situation to flare this low pressure tank gas. And so supplying this, and most of the commercial application for this is a lease. We do have some operators that choose to buy them as well in the oil and gas application. To protect our 0.2 vapor recovery unit, which removes the oxygen, we also provide a sulfur sentinel that removes sulfur because that does damage the catalyst within our 0.2 application. And then liquids also damage that, so we would like to have a gas scrubber in front of that process. Some of the investment highlights I think we highlighted coming out of our 2Q call. We're in a leadership position for the energy, industrial, and energy evolution markets. Our CEO likes to call it energy evolution because this isn't a transition. It's going to take a lot longer than most people thought. So we use the term evolution. And really coming out of 2021 and the restructuring with our super centers, we've really gone to a significantly improved financial performance. We have currently no debt, $203 million in cash as of June 30. And had a really good free cash flow haul this last quarter of $79 million. Including cash, total liquidity, $584 million. We have really an expanding set of energy transition and evolution products. EcoVapor is just one example of some products that we're marketing and selling to our customers as they're looking for emissions. Either it's a methane emission reductions by replacing gas pneumatic devices with compressed air devices, or it's upgrading aging infrastructure that's leaking. Most of our customers are hitting the methane first and then moving on to the CO2 in order to meet their Scope 1 and Scope 2 requirements and their ESG promises to the market. We're also leveraging technology and investigating and using AI capabilities really to make our business more efficient, more productive in how we process procurement. Not only internal, process of quoting, procurement, and orders internally at DNOW, but also on behalf of customers. Let me go to the next slide. And then some of the growth drivers here. Again, I mentioned energy evolution. We believe, rig count's been, obviously receding since 4Q last year, but we see a lot of CapEx spend coming into energy evolution markets and carbon capture, direct air capture projects. In the past year or two, a lot of that's been rhetorical, a lot of commentary coming out of our customers, but now we're starting to see actual funding into these projects and we're winning orders. We see that as a big driver of our revenue here in the future. We're also excited about the biofuels and renewable natural gas market tied to our EcoVapor solution, so we're going to see growth there, and we believe hydrogen is going to play a part in this, but yet a little bit longer in the future. I mentioned the leveraging our strengths, which is our super centers and our enhanced service model. Again, we're not a catalog shop. We're tied to kind of a high-touch service model with our customers. And then international activities increasing. On a year-over-year basis, we're up 30% international. Mark will comment on that. And then continue to grow through acquisitions. We're a highly acquisitive company. We've got a very strong balance sheet. We're excited to make really powerful acquisitions here coming forward. I think this is my last slide, but this is just a highlight on EcoVapor. Again, it strips the oxygen out of the flash gas. whether it's in the oil and gas operations or renewable natural gas markets for landfill, for swine farms and dairy farms. And then there's an equivalent here. So one of these units, one E300 unit, is equivalent to running 4 wind turbines or remove 3,500 gas power vehicles or 2,000 households of energy. So we're doing our share of really helping reduce the carbon footprint out here for a lot of our customers. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mark Johnson.
Thanks, Brad. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you. I appreciate you all staying from this morning's lecture. And if you want to pay attention, I think this slide will kind of be the one that speaks to the story Brad was just talking about. So, I get to come up here as the finance guy and brag about really where we've been and where we're going. And if you look at second half of 2014, just as a comparison, we were $2.1 billion in revenue and generated $97 million in EBITDA. So about a 4.7% EBITDA company. That's half a year, 2014. If you fast forward to 2022, full year revenue the same, $2.1 billion, but we brought to the bottom line 8.2% of EBITDA, $175 million. And so our company has transformed, post-COVID. So I took over as CFO about 3 years ago, new CEO 3 years ago, really worked to change the way we go to market and focus on the value we can bring our customers, finding solutions to their problems. And so I think we don't compete on price like Brad mentioned. We're not a catalog shop. We're there finding solutions to, it could be supply chain, right? So last year when I was up here, everyone's talking about supply chain issues, lead time issues. The year before that, it was wondering about, what's oil price going to do? What about the SPR release, And so each year we figure out, our customers are trying to find different problems to solve. The most recent one we've been helping them with is on the energy evolution piece. And so we continue to sell pipes, valves, fittings, pumps, into that application as well. So this doesn't get enough airtime in my opinion. I think this is underappreciated in the market. We're about over $1 billion market cap company, generating $175 million in EBITDA. So this is the trajectory over the past several quarters, and you can kind of see up and to the right. Up and to the right, gross margins is a focus for us. So we're a distributor, like Brad said, but selling our value and getting paid for what we do is critical. And so we've spent the last 3 years sidestepping that work that doesn't provide value our customers see, and focusing on what DNOW can deliver to these customers that improves their end results, be it more efficiencies, lower emissions, on-time deliveries, emergency breakdown, repair, you name it. We're partnering with our customers and being very successful in that. Also on net income, it's nice to see, Brad mentioned we're debt-free. We've been debt-free for a long time. We're a highly acquisitive company. We like to be that way. But you'll notice, on our net income, we're bringing very comparable net income dollars to the bottom line versus a lot of our peers who have a pretty heavy debt burden at this interest rates. EBITDA, we were aspirational when we spun off from NOV to try to get to an 8% EBITDA company. We've done it. We're there. You'll notice the last 3 quarters in a row, $47 million. It's not rounding. It's looking to break free from what was a 4%, a sub 4% business 8 years ago, and being able to deliver 8% EBITDA is something the whole company is behind, and it's allowing us to allocate capital differently, and I'll get to that here in a minute. We're a distributor. We have a lot of inventory for our customers, but in any slowdown, we generate a ton of cash off the balance sheet, right? So anytime when a downturn happens from a DNOW distribution perspective, we're converting that AR, converting that inventory into cash, right? So what we've been able to, this is a quarterly chart. We'll get to a better graph here in a minute, but we've been able to generate with 30% revenue growth year over year last year, we're able to not consume cash. So 30% revenue growth, not able to consume cash as a distributor, speaks to our ability to generate cash through cycles. So we've been able to allocate capital to shareholders. So we'll talk about share buyback we initiated last year. Working capital, excluding cash, you see we turn our working capital 5 times a year. So highly efficient, using the technology Brad talked about, partnering with our customers with their plans, highly efficient working capital model for DNOW. Total liquidity, this is one of my favorite slides. We have the ability to do more. We're very conservative in our approach to capital allocation. We like to do M&A when the prices are right and the valuations are right. So there could have been periods in the last couple years where you're going head to head with PE firms and other forecasts where they're talking about consolidation savings, they're talking about valuations that really didn't materialize if you want to look back at those. From a DNOW perspective, we're very good stewards with what we believe, with our shareholders' capital. But we have the ability, $584 million of liquidity. And so it's a fun place to be. I've hit on a lot of these topics, no debt, ample liquidity. In the top right slide over here, last year it was funding organic growth, right? We wanted to use capital to fund organic growth, but we didn't, right? We were free cash flow or cash from operations pretty neutral last year on 30% growth. So number 2, is the focus for us, especially as we look at energy transition, adjacent markets, and being able to expand our pumps, valves, fittings, and services to our end users. And then also returning capital to shareholders. So $80 million share repurchase program. We're more than halfway through that program as of last quarter. We hit on this. This is our, National Oil of Arco, if you followed them, and I've been with the company 15 years plus, highly acquisitive. Pete Miller was CEO. He came over, was our executive chairman for a while. Our DNA is to be, growth acquisitive company and still remain debt free without issuing equity for any of these deals so far. So it just points to we're going to do deals when it makes sense. We're going to do deals that are accretive to earnings, accretive to free cash flow. We're not going to do a deal that really sabotages those values. Brad hit on a lot of these acquisitions. The most recent ones we did, we completed 2 acquisitions in May of this year. $51 million in the share repurchase, and then, I'll end on this one. Being debt-free, access to capital, we're able to invest in digital solutions. And so what we found, certainly through COVID and through today, as people look to the future and ESG and ways to monitor, we're able to invest in digital solutions for our customers, and these are just some of the examples. We have a very robust e-commerce platform that a lot of our customers enjoy, including approvals and you name it. We can design pretty much anything they need in this digital platform. And then we also have what we call DNOW, and so Brad talked about the Process Solutions Group. That didn't exist when we were part of National Oil of Arco. We've acquired our way into the pumps, the process equipment, the completions work, and that subset comes with highly engineered, we have engineers on staff that will work to solve our customers' problems, right? And so eSpec is effectively taking a lot of the equipment we make for our customers and solutions we make for our customers and allowing them to build it out just like you would your car online, right? You can pick all of the specs. It'll let you do a 3D walk around, you name it. Really a great sales tool for our sales force to work with our customer. eTrack and Access Now are just other digital solutions that we're able to invest in. It can be something simple as them going out and doing a pump that's tagged with our QR code, or it could be tagged with GPS. We can let them know the run times of those pumps, the maintenance needs, and it works into their work order system right to a PO to DNOW, right? So this is a slide that really Brad drives this strategy for us here at DNOW. I get to talk about it because I'm funding it or funding this year, but it's exciting. And last year I think we were at a conference, earlier this was probably last quarter, I guess. And people are talking about AI and people are talking about GPT. All of those items for us, we're able to partner with our customers and keep pace with them. And so I think that's, as a distributor, exciting to do. And I appreciate y'all's time. And I just revert you back. If you knew DNOW a few years ago, or pre-COVID, take a look at us now and welcome your comments in Q&A. 7 seconds left, I'll give you back. Yeah, thanks, guys.